Hey guys, Tori Boggs here, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a cross, aka a crisscross. This is probably one of the best known jump rope skills on the planet, very recognized, but there are definite right and wrong ways to do it. So let's jump right into this tutorial so you'll be crossing correctly in no time. Whoop. All right, so as you're approaching that cross, I definitely recommend that you've totally mastered the single bounce, that basic jump. It's so easy for you by this point. I also do recommend, especially if you're progressing through jump rope skills, that you've tackled a lot of the footwork, the basic foot movement jump rope skills, because next would kind of be those more complicated arm movements. With that said, the cross is still a basic level jump rope skill, so developing those upper body arm swings is also a really great thing to start off from foundationally at the beginning of your journey. So to start, I like to first work on arm swings before approaching the cross. So make sure that you have, first of all, the forward arm swing. If you've watched some of my other tutorials, you know I've gone over these. So have that both sides. Even backwards is really good, both sides. And then most importantly on this one, having that crossover swing. So going from swing on the right to crossing over, because this is exactly what you're gonna be doing in that crisscross. And this is a really great way to hit all of those important technique points that I'm gonna give you now in a practice session without tiring out your lower body. So you can really focus on doing exactly what your arm needs it to do rather than tripping up over the rope each time. So focus on that arm swing, making sure that when swing from down back to up, on the down again, that's when you're crossing it low at the opposite hip and hugging your arm close to your body. So you don't want to have a huge distance here on this crossover. You want to keep it close and around your hip on the other side. So right arm crossover for sure. And then of course, also make sure you have that left arm crossover. So the rope is going from up, crossing over as it's coming down, meeting your opposite hip as much as possible, reaching across your body, because if it's here, that swing isn't gonna work. So making sure it's getting all the way over, and then when the rope is back in that up position, you can open that arm again. So make sure that you have the crossover swings really down before taking both handles. All right, so breaking that cross down, don't go right into your first jumps. Start with just getting the crossing arm movement. So even if you don't even want to start holding your rope, you can just practice simply making sure you have that proper cross position. And how that would work is having your hands crossed and low at your hips. A lot of people make the mistake of having their arms way too high in the cross position, and when you do that, it lifts the rope really high off the ground, making you have to jump higher. Another common error is that people cross way too far away from their body, and this is going to require a lot bigger, longer rope or a lot bigger arm movement. So make sure that you're keeping your arms hugging your body as much as possible. A lot of people think that this limits their arm movement, but it actually helps you have a better swing because you're able to swing low across your body and have that rope come around behind you where you couldn't necessarily reach that. Or a lot of times people will start to hit their back end because their arms are just too far away from their body. So low at the hips, close to your body. These are really the most important technique points to mastering that cross. So once you feel comfortable with where that technique is, making sure your arms are reaching to the sides of your body, not getting stuck in front of your body, right? So your handles have to get to both sides. Start with the rope behind you, swing it over your head, and then just take that crossing position. So get used to the idea of swinging into the cross. So it's the same idea of that arm swing. The rope is coming from up to down on that crossover. Here the rope comes from up to down and you're doing that crossover. So make sure that this is feeling really good. Once you've mastered that, now work on catching the rope under your toes. So swing and catch. So that's really just ensuring that the rope is gonna make it around both sides of your body. So if you're swinging and catching and it's only really coming around one side, let's say your cross is a bit sideways and your arm's not reaching far enough, you're gonna find that out really early on this catching technique. It's also helpful to be doing it in front of a mirror so you can really see if, let's say, your cross is going sideways or one arm isn't reaching quite far enough. That's a really good feedback tool. So master getting that swing over, crossing, and catching. And once that's feeling really good, you can pretty much go into just jumping over the rope. So cross and hop. Now, you'll see that what we haven't worked on yet is keeping that momentum behind you. So once you get over the rope, what are you gonna do? Generally, the rope is gonna have a lot of speed that you can continue that momentum naturally. However, it should be said that your arms really do, your wrists as well, do a significant part of that. So as you've jumped over the rope, it's now behind you. You wanna make sure that you're continuing that motion with those nice arm swings with even that wrist movement a bit, because your wrist can fold back a bit to give you some help on that cross movement. So you jump over it, and then from this point, the rope is kind of dead behind you. I want you to try to practice swinging the rope over your head. One other thing is, from the very beginning of learning how to do a cross, do both arms in front and back. So not just practicing your right leading, but also making sure that you're practicing your left leading, because in turn they will help one another. All right, so back to this, you jump, the rope dies, and now you're gonna give it some momentum on that swing over the front. And once you get this down, this is really the significant controlling part of the cross. It's gonna make it so much easier when it is time to actually go into the crossing skill. And then you'll have that momentum that you're needing. So get those parts really, really comfortable, and then put it all together and go into that full crossing skill. You jump and you keep that swing. And then the uncross is gonna happen once the rope has come over your head, it's cleared, it's about in this area, so we have this kind of 45-degree angle. That's when you're gonna now uncross your arms to give yourself time to be able to jump it again. So you have the cross and the open. Go through it really slowly and try to go into consecutive crosses where you are switching that front arm. That's really the best way to kind of make sure that you've mastered this skill. And then eventually you can try to keep crossing and then alternate uncrossing, or try 3 crosses in a row with 1 jump, vice versa. So many different combinations to master with that cross. So have fun with it. And yeah, great job, guys. Thank you guys so much for crossing with me today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe to my channel, drop a comment on today's skill, and anything else that you want to see here in the future. And until next time, happy jumping. Presented by Brooks Running.